Hey there, folks. How are you? It's me, it's Scott, and it's been a little while since I made a video. Been thinking about doing it. I've got a couple actually that I did shoot that I didn't wind up posting for one reason or another. Anyway, I'm in the studio today. I've been moving some stuff around, moving some stuff up to the apartment, a bookshelf mostly, and a small table. So I'm taking a little break, and I thought, hey, I actually happened upon this box when I was moving stuff around the shelf. It's a Levi's branded shoebox, but what's actually in there is my collection of mini comics. So I thought you might enjoy one of these comic box dives that I've been doing, only this time it's mini comics. And it was a pretty good size stack of them. I've been buying mini comics for like 40 years, roughly. Especially intensified when I started making them in the 90s. And I always try to pick them up if I see them around. I can't really afford to buy all of them, but certainly the ones that are kind of style-wise maybe my jam. So that's mostly what you're going to see today. And here's a beloved one that I actually scanned for the artist a few years ago. It's Corn Comics #1 by Marc Bell. He's advertising one of his other comics, Hep, on the back. And this is just kind of one of Marc Bell's kind of typical comics of the time. This would be early 90s, mid 90s. Good stuff. 93. So yeah. Mark had a collection of mini comics published recently, I think, and needed a good scan of this because I don't think he had a copy anymore. So I was happy to provide that for him. What else we got here? Oh, this is a little catalog thing that Mark also made, showing some of his other mini comics that were available at the time. And another ad on the back for Hep #1, which was published apparently by Iconographics, which was one of the small press publishers. So what do we got? Oh, nice. We got Real Rap #2. And that is by, it's Beatrix Urkowitz, the daughter of my old friend Peter. And she's a very cool trans artist. I'm trying to remember, I know they had a kind of bigger publication recently, and I cannot remember the name, but I'll go back, I'll find it, and I'll pop it in here as a little video insert. Very cool to see. Like I kind of came up in the Amateur Press Association scene with their dad Peter, and who himself is a great illustrator. I've got one or two of his books back there somewhere. It was very cool surprise to come across this, I think in Toronto at the time. What else we got here? We'll see a lot of comics by this guy, Sean Bieri, who I was a big fan of. He's based in Detroit. Had this long-running mini-comic title called Jape, which, as the name might imply, was just a whole bunch of short comedy stories. Fun stuff. And I imagine we'll find, I'm just going to grab a little stack here. I imagine we'll find a few things by him. Yeah, here's a bunch more mini comics by Sean Bieri. This one is called The Naked Song. And it's a song about nudity, apparently. Fine. Here's one called Fix Funnies. And I think it's, again, short comedy stuff. Yeah. Another issue of Jape. A card. A card from someone named Maurice Harter, who used to publish... oh, I see. Used to be a comics review columnist for Face magazine. Columnist, it says. And do zine reviews. And apparently they were based in Portland, Maine, and moved to a different address in Portland, Maine. I do not recall this person at all, but they must have gotten my address through Fact Sheet 5 or something at the time. Here's a card from See Here, which was a store in New York, St. Mark's Place. Again, I guess I got on their mailing list somehow. I must have ordered something from them at some point. Here's a little card promoting the fact that Kaz was going to be signing his new book from Fantagraphics at the time. It's cool. Oh, that's nice. Here's a little note from Jesse Reclaw. I think it's, Jesse Reclaw, who had a mini comic, actually, might have been a regular size comic called Concave Up. He used to do a lot of comics about dreams and adapting dreams, I think, much like Rick Veitch was doing for a bit. Trying to remember the name. He had an ongoing kind of syndicated, Slow Wave it was called, an ongoing kind of syndicated newspaper comic about like adapting dreams and stuff like that. Oh, wow. Here's a blast from the past. A card promoting Silly Daddy by Joe Chiappetta, who was kind of an indie darling in the 90s for a little while. Harvey Award nominee for Best New Talent, according to this. I remember having a lot of career envy about this guy at the time, because I was like, I could be a silly daddy. I guess I am one now. Yeah. I think at the time, too, I wasn't a parent yet, and I was maybe feeling a bit of anxiety about that, because I wanted to be one. Anyway, I don't know whatever became of Joe Chiappetta. I assume his kids grew up, and he was only really interested in making comics about parenthood while the kids were growing up. Maybe he's extremely successful in comics, and I have no idea. So, here's another card from Jesse Reclaw about Concave Up. Here is a card from... It says Joyous Ramadan. Oh, it's from Jessica Abel. Okay. Yes. Jessica Abel had a zine or comic called Art Babe at one point. And... okay, I guess Jessica Abel is Muslim, so this was actually a Ramadan card from her. That's cool. I don't know if I've gotten that many Ramadan cards. Anyway, it's got on her mailing list, apparently. This is a mini comic that was distributed through Appa Centauri at the time by, I believe, Mark Baldridge, who was one of my favorite contributors there. Maybe James Zank was in this too. Anyway, this is an adaptation of the song Turn Around by They Might Be Giants, which is a very macabre little song. And it's basically just a comics adaptation of it. It's fun. What else we got here? We got another one of, it's the first issue of Real Rap by Beatrix Urkowitz again. So that's cool. What else? Oh, nice. Matt Feazell, the king of mini comics. We'll be seeing a lot of Matt Feazell in this stack. This is a change of address card from 1999. And there's a little note on the back. Oh, because I had sent him a copy of Stolen Car mini comic at the time. So that's nice. Little note from Matt Feazell there. had a lovely chat with him on the phone years ago. It was the night that Twin Peaks debuted as a movie of the week on ABC, and I was in college. And I had noticed that in Matt's backup stories for a comic that I liked at the time called Zot by Scott McCloud, he had left what looked like a real phone number in one of the panels. So I called it, and it was his number. So we chatted for a bit about making comics and had a lovely time. And then after I hung up the phone, the movie of the week was coming on, and it was Twin Peaks. And that was also, it was quite a night. Anyway, here's another issue of Jape with one of my favorite gags. This is the first issue, actually. Honey, you know I love you more than any other colostomy bag. You lying sack of shit, she says. It's so dumb. Still makes me laugh. 30 years later. Oh my goodness. All right. Another stack here. What do we got? Another issue of Jape, number 6, again by Sean Bieri. There's number 5. And there's number 4. And okay, here's speaking of Jessica Abel, here is a mini comic by her called 5 O'Clock Shadow from 1994, looks like. I'm not sure what Jessica is up to these days. Last I heard, I believe she's married or partners with another cartoonist, Matt Madden, and they both have kind of, they've both done graphic novels and stuff, but I think they're both also kind of working on the education side of comics a little bit, which is cool. Anyway, good artist. Here is another issue of 5 O'Clock Shadow, number 15. That was number 12 that I showed you before. Oh, okay. I guess 5 O'Clock Shadow is an anthology edited by Sean Bieri, or was. And I mistook this as a Jessica Abel joint. She just did the cover of this. Okay, so let's take a little closer look at who's in this. Here in issue number 12, the contributors are Jessica Abel, Ariel Bordeaux, cool, Matt Feazell, sure, Jeff Levine, Destroy All Comics, Kadri Levine and Todd McMullen, Sean Bieri, right, Robert Lewis from Kalamazoo. Oh, it's got everyone's addresses. I love that. Ron Reggie? Sorry, I'm not sure I pronounced that wrong. Matt Kelly, Claire Nell, Suzanne Bauman, Jenny Zervakis and Mark Cunningham, and Matt Madden. Matt Madden has the last story in here. Okay, cool. And then in this issue, number 15, Sean Bieri, Suzanne Bauman again, Molly Brodak, Andy Robinson, Pete Trudgeon, Matt Feazell, Joe Giappetta, Pam Bliss, Aaron Trudgeon, David Means, Mark Robinson, and Mark Cunningham. Okay. Cool to see an anthology that's the size. Oh, mini comics. Here we go. Here's some Matt Feazell. We got the Board of Superheroes number 1. Matt Feazell is for those who don't know, he's the Jack Kirby of mini comics. He has published so many mini comics. Some of them, and they're all extremely silly, usually involving stick figures like this, Antisocial Man. This was a series, The Death of Antisocial Man. I've got chapters 5 and 6 here. And he, as far as I know, he's definitely still around, still making comics, I think. I don't think he's quite as active as he was, but anyway, God love Matt Feazell. Here's an adaptation of another song, 88 lines about 44 women. Bit of a naughty song. And this is adapted. This is another jam by a whole bunch of different artists, basically each doing one of the women mentioned in the song. So we got Josh Ellington, Rachel Hartman, Suzanne Bauman, Franz de Leon, Jerry White, Max Inc., Aaron Trudgeon, Joe Zabel, Travis Raffi, Michael Carroll, Todd McMullen, Mercy Van Vleck, hey! Sean Bieri, Steve Steglin, Steve Lieber, Pete Trudgeon, Marc Bieri, Chad Woody, Scott Roberts, Amy Fershore Kelly, Tara Jenkins, Chris Butler, Jeff Wasson, Rob Clark, Rob Lewis, Yul Tolbert, Kateri Levine McMullen, Denny Stevens, Joe Chiapetti, Gary Freeman with Sean Bieri, Jen Hashigan, Meryl Agnerian, Kateri Levine McMullen again, Molly Brodak, Rob Corby, Lee Brimacombe Wood, Matt Feazell, Chris Howard, Pam Bliss, Jim Ottaviani, wow, Greg Hyland, nice, Tim Kelly, and Jason Asala. Okay, a lot of familiar names there. That's a fun one. Okay, so we got a bunch more Matt Feazell here. We got The Death of Antisocial Man, chapters 2 through 4. Cute Girls, Cute Tips. Oh, Cute Girl, number 2 by Matt Feazell on pink paper. Death of Antisocial Man and Cute Girl number 1 by Feazell. That's some great old stuff there by him. Cool Jerk and Homo Gal by Sean Bieri. Sean Bieri, that is. Kind of a BDSM themed superhero. Not Available Comics, number 24, which was kind of Feazell's general, could be about anything kind of title. From 1992, apparently. Oh, there's Scribbles the Pup on the back. That's fun. Another issue of Not Available, number 25. Hey Cynical Man, a cartoon book from 1999. I might have gotten this from him. I believe I met him at a Montreal con. The Spirits of Independence show that Dave Sim organized as a part of a tour for indie publishers. Let's see here. Spy Girls, number 1. I'm not sure who that is by. Don't see any credits. On nudity. There's a website, darkgirl.com. Look that up, I guess. 1995. No idea. Here is... This is another one from... I think this was also run through Apis and Tori, but maybe not. The I Story. Actually, somebody might have sent this to me to trade. It's got kind of a screen printed cover there, and center as well. Very intricate, very interesting art. Another Matt Feazell. This is a card. Looks like a holiday card, I guess. And then here is a catalog for Feazell's various mini comics at the time. You would fold this up and include it with whatever you were buying or trading. Here's another holiday card featuring his character Stupid Boy. And then we got some more Death of Antisocial Man, chapters 7, 8, and 9. And another issue of Not Available Comics, number 26. A lot of Matt Feazell in this stack. Let's grab another handful here. Oh, here's a little card from... there's a couple things here. There's a little mini micro comic by my Halifax artist friend Girl Boy Bird. It's kind of done in one of those folded mini zine formats. I do love seeing like micro comics. Here's another one from Jess Anne, who I believe is a PEI based. Well, I think they're in Halifax, but they're from PEI. I've got a couple lovely books by them. Here is a card by Andy Riley, 2006. Okay. Not really sure what that is about. Here is... now, lots of people know about what they call Chick tracts, published by the Jack Chick Evangelical Religious Publishing Company in the United States. There's these mini comics about Yay Big, and they talk about stuff like Catholics being the devil or whatever. But they are not the only ones. Now that format, by the way, is based on an old pornography format called the Tijuana Bible, where they would draw comics of celebrities having sex with each other. And those existed back in like the 1920s, 30s, 40s. These Jack Chick is not the only company to do evangelical mini comics. Here's one by Christian Communications Corp., which I think is probably the same company that did the openly religious Archie comics in the 1970s that you occasionally see around. Those were mostly driven by one of the Archie artists at the time named Al Hartley. And I think he is actually, I think the art on this one might be by Dan DiCarlo. So he may have roped Dan into doing one of these. This one is called The Key, and it doesn't feature Archie characters, but as you can see, it is very Archie style art-wise. Anyway, it's a pretty simple story about, how God is the key to happiness and all that sort of thing that kids need to know. Here is a mini by a Madeline West called Emotional Zine Girls. Pretty sweet artwork, actually. Kind of nice color art. I'm guessing that came from, there was a zine show in Halifax a couple of years ago where a collective of young artists, I think mostly young women, had published a bunch of zines, and kind of with the help of their teacher, I think in high school. And I went and picked up a bunch of them. I'm guessing this is probably another one. So yeah, hopefully they're still out there making zines if they want to. Poorly drawn men and their many uses. I don't think this is from the same group. It might be, though. Not really sure. I think that might be a different... Oh, here's another one by Jess Anne called Chill Beats. It's got some nice color art there. It's a nice format. That's kind of what I'm talking about with the religious tract format, but this is actually even smaller. Oh, nice. Okay, so there was a while in the 90s, I don't think it was because anyone ever thought they would be collectible, but there was a weird little trend where some up-and-coming pro artists and writers would make mini comics just as a way to promote their indie comics. Scott McCloud did it, and I think it was this publisher, Starhead, that was kind of recruiting people to do these. Anyway, one of the artists that they got was Ed Brubaker. And this is he had a comic that he drew back then, wrote and drew, called Low Life. And this is kind of related to that. It's called, there's a little note here saying it's a little low life's adventure. So I think it's meant to be the characters when they were a bit younger. It's a story of throwing rotten eggs on Halloween. So I don't know if that's something that actually happened to Ed or not, but anyway. Here is, looks like a catalog from something called iArt. Basically just advertising. They're based in Belmont, California, and they're doing like scanning and layout services, digital services for artists who needed them. Okay, here is a much more recent mini comic that I must have picked up at Strange Adventures. It's by the artist Nick Dernazzo, and it's called Young, Dumb, and Full of Cum. Obviously, I can appreciate that, having published a book called Young, Dumb, and Full of Comics. And this is much like the other comics that we've seen. It's a collection of short stories. Here's one by an artist called Denny, called At the Seams. Seems to involve sewing. Okay. And kind of a metaphor of a scarecrow there. Oh, I remember this from that group of young women that I mentioned before, Black Girl on the Internet, by an M. Muhammad. Not a comic, really, more of an essay, but sometimes I pick up stuff just for design as well, and very cool design. Here's one called Feline Linguistic Development, and it's by an Amanda Stevens. Oh, of course, Amanda from the Anchor Archive zine library, and it's a story about her cat and the cat's relationship with her dad, I believe. Next up, we've got one called The Portal. Not sure. Looks like it's by, the artist's name got cut off a little bit there, but it looks like Brittany Curran, maybe? Seems to be a comic about breakfast. Get behind that for sure. Oh, I see. It's about digestion. Okay. Here's one called Messed Up Martian by Brian L. from 2014. It's kind of a cartoony story. Oh, I guess that must be the artist on the back. It's fun. Here's kind of scatological one, another one called H1N1 Comics, about again digestion. Oh, some crazy cartooning going on there. By Everett G, 2009 apparently. Okay, it's got a MySpace address. That's how old this is. Wonder what he's up to. Okay, so earlier I mentioned the company Starhead that had recruited kind of up-and-coming artists or established artists to publish some mini-comics. Here's another one by Peter Bagg, the creator of a popular comic at the time called Hate, and J.R. Williams. Eat Shit and Die, it was called. Eat Shit or Die, What Would You Do? And it's just kind of a little crazy yarn by those two guys. Very, I would say, very Basil Wolverton influenced in a much more obvious way than normally was for Pete Bagg and company. But that's fun. Here's another one by J.R. Williams called Die Laughing. And again, they've done the limited palette with colors. It's basically like a 2-color book. Nice though, nice production quality on those. And I've got, I don't know if they're in the shoebox or not, but there was a little collection of 5 mini comics that Scott McCloud did. Not sure if it was through them or not. Here's a neat one by John McCloud, who is probably best known in Canada for his wonderful mini comic series, or indie comic series called The Mundane Adventures of Dishman. But he also published a number of other mini comics, including this one, My Thoughts on Kurt Cobain, which I'm guessing was published shortly after Kurt took his life. So there's a lot of lovely kind of line art pictures of Nirvana in there, and just what the band meant to McCloud at the time. Another kind of music-related one by McCloud called The Night I Almost Met Shonen Knife. Another great band of the time. As somebody who does his own share of music-related comics and adaptations, I tend to pick them up too, I guess. Here's one called Symbiote Sniper. And it's by Donald's. Originally made for Swamp Cone magazine in 2018. I think I remember meeting this artist at Decaf that year, and I feel like he was also from BEI. Yeah, it says here it's a giveaway from Decaf. Okay. Well, that's cool. Speaking of Decaf, here's a great one by Dave Howlett, one of my favorite maritime artists. He loves to do deep dives on weird little pop culture moments and characters, and here's one from Tim Burton's first Batman film about Bob the Goon, who's an extremely minor character in that movie. It kind of tells his story. And talks about the actor who played him, Tracy Walter. Anyway, lots of fun if you can find it. Here's an illustration by Brennan. I forget his last name. Sorry, dude. Also at Decaf a few years ago. And here's the urtext for mini comics. Of course, it's got to be by Matt Feazell. It's called Understanding Mini Comics. Basically his own spin on his friend Scott McCloud's much more comprehensive book, Understanding Comics. What more do you need to know? Fun stuff. All right, I'm going to grab another stack. I'd say I'm about a third of the way through that shoebox now. Here is an Hourly Comics Day collection from 2015 by the great British artist Dan Barry, who used to do a great podcast called Make It Then Tell Everybody. If you ever want to go back and listen to cartoonists talking about process, I highly recommend it. I believe I got this from him at TCAF one year. Here is, looks like a promotional card by Messier Xianxik. Sorry, I'm really butchering that name. Oh, you know what? I must have picked this up when I did take a trip to Europe about 10 years ago, a little over 10, and stopped at a couple of comic shops in Leeds and London, Gosh Comics, and oh gosh, what was the one in Leeds? There was a couple I stopped at in Leeds, actually. Anyway, so yes, I must have picked up a bunch of promotional cards like this Here's another one for a graphic novel by Joe DeC called Collecting Sticks. Again, British, so that's probably on that trip. Here's a promotional card for something called The Veil. Doesn't say who the artist is. Here is okay. Here's a mini called A Place I'll Never Forget by Alex Mann. Inspired by Colleen McIsaac's cartography. And it appears to be a series of drawings of just different places that are of relevance to the artist. In Manitoba, Kingston, Ontario, Amsterdam, Kingston again, Fort McMurray, the Chateau Frontenac, and Mabu, Nova Scotia. That's quite the range there. I lived in Kingston for a little while. 130 King Street East. What's there, I wonder? I'm guessing that's it. Maybe they lived there. Anyway. Here's a comic by Jim Rugg, from cartoonist kayfabe fame. It's Rambo 3.5. It's a bizarre story about Rambo and George Bush. Here's Magical Girls by Ava Austin. Got a few of these little ones. There's one called In Your Head by Paulina Shulga. True Horror. Not sure who that is by. I'm guessing these are more of the ones that I picked up by that group of young women. Here's one called Late Bloomer by an artist calling themselves Future Blot. About discovering queerness, I'm guessing. Another card from Jesse Reclaw. A card from Adam Cadwell. British artist, I believe. Another mini by Jess Anne. And I have a few of these, a few issues of this title called Ghouls by Josh Simmons, which he was distributing to straight to comic shops. Pretty good, just kind of variety of short comics and illustrations. So there's issue 2, issue 3, it's issue 4. And a couple other, these are more kind of documentary minis by Chris Pitzer, called Procrastination Comics, and it's kind of showing photos of different ephemera, basically collectible things from comics. For example, alternative artist trading cards, or this Flash TV special. There's another issue of it there. Here's a blast from the past. Halifax, Stunt Dog is a little zine, promotional zine by the Strange Adventures comic shop. Dave Howlett and various others would have contributed, I'm sure. Here's an issue of a lovely little mini comic called Magpie that I remember picking up in Halifax many years ago. The story is by Lou Scannon, I believe. Oh, I just got that is probably a fake name. Lou Scannon. Loose Cannon. Okay, well, they're pretty good artists, whoever they are. 1991, D.R. Boyle. Okay, they were based in Halifax. D.R. Boyle. Whoever you are, D.R. Boyle, I don't know what you're up to. Here's a much more recent, but no less great Halifax comic, Business Cat. One of my favorites by Dutch Foster, the child of an excellent artist and sculptor himself. Business Cat has it all. It's got action. It's got character development. I'm not kidding, man. I love Business Cat. I would love to see more. But I don't like to pressure kids. But if they make more, I'll absolutely get more. Here's another one by Jess Anne, aka Weird Sister, called Crybaby. Here is a much more polished mini comic that a publisher kind of decided to slum it and publish in a mini comics format, as they sometimes do, or sometimes publishers will do it as just a cheaper way to promote their book. So this is called The Prime Eights. By Michael Morici and Steve Seeley and Brent Schoonover. Okay. I recognize some names there. Fifth World Studios. Let's see. The Boxing Buckets Final Round. It's kind of a black and white short story about boxing, I guess, by Ben Towell and Chris Riley. Okay. A couple of artists who worked for slave labor graphics back then. Here's one by David Craig from 2019 called Brick Breaks Free. And Other Stories. And just some fun, kind of silly adventures of a brick. Why not? Let's see. Here is... I'm not quite sure what the title is. By Donald Price. Okay, yeah. AKA Dunce. We saw one of his comics earlier. Okay. It's about misery, apparently. It was for a themed anthology. Here's another Josh Simmons. It's issue 0 of Ghouls. Another one by Jess Anne, A Little Book of Blessings. Oh, and there's another copy of Crybaby. Here's... not quite sure what the title of this is. Chi-Town, maybe? Or Spy-Town? Oh, it's about... Spry Town, maybe? Because it seems to be set in Spryfield, which is a neighborhood of Halifax. So I'm guessing this is one of that gang of Halifax scene makers that I ran into that time. Here's Please Don't Murder Me by Halifax artist Kyle Bridget. Portraits of serial killers. That's fun. Here's one called Bees, Dumb Birds, which is basically just commenting on how dumb birds can be. Yeah, let's see. Here's one called Stick, S-T-I-K. About a stick figure character, I guess. They may not have been aware of Matt Feazell's extensive work in that field. Here's another issue of Stick, developing, fleshing out the world a little more. That's fun. Okay. How are we doing on time? Okay, I'll take another break soon, but before I do that, I'll go through a little more here. Here's one called Take Care by Caitlin Cagliostro, 2018. And it's kind of using plant imagery to give some advice. It's nice. Here is one, I'm not quite sure what this is called. Ooh, lovely art though. Pretty much just like a portfolio of different drawings. I'm not quite sure who by. I'll see if I can figure that out though. Okay, here's some more polished kind of color comics called Space Farts by Mark Jackson, and I think I have a bunch of these that I picked up. Yeah, there's like a couple series of them, so I got a stack of those. Very very broad, kind of silly cartooning. I was just coming up on a stack of these small format kind of mini comics. So I'm just going to speed run through these. Most of what I've got left is in kind of non-traditional formats and sizes, and what I would almost kind of categorize on being on the fine art project end of things versus, you know, I'm publishing my latest comics. So anyway, here's a bunch of these mini comics. Here's one called My Body by Caitlin Cagliostro. Backpacks by Emily Flynn. My First Comic by Adrienne Danielle. A zine about procrastination and doing the darn thing. I can certainly identify with that. Here's one called Wicca, a zine about witchcraft, and that is by Kaylin Grant. Allergic to one called Pie by Jack Natalino, who I recognize from around Halifax. I'm guessing somebody who has taken Kyle Bridget's class. Here's one called Explore. Oh, wow. Some lovely kind of, looks like watercolor artwork. Nice. Necessities by Olivia. Sick Fun. Not quite sure who the artist is. Random Shorts with Kyle and Timmy. And Spooky Stuff by Emily Flynn. Doki Doki Heart-Pounding Boyfriend Catalog by James Lee. With this catalog, you too can find the man of your dreams. Oh my, I must check this out. Oh, I see, okay. It's kind of like it's a catalog of your potential soulmates. Cool. Yeah, I don't know about these guys. I like Dyrax, the Destroyer of Worlds, there at the end. Alright, so now we're getting into some kind of different formats and stuff that is maybe more on the fine art end of things. For example, this collection, 6 small zines by Laura Watson, Little Things That No One Needs. What's in here? There's a little zine called Small Forgotten Things. It's very cool. Rituals, Camping with Isabel. There's one about houseplants. Oh, wow. Really lovely reproduction on these. Leftovers and Left Behinds. The Beginner's Guide to Homemade Sanctuaries. Whoops. And something called Things That Don't Fly. A series of drawings. So, very cool stuff. And cool packaging. There we go. Let's see, here's, again, lovely binding on this one called Lullaby, also by Laura K. Watson. Just really great drawing all around there. Let's see, here's one by Sofia Alarcon. Another great artist, I believe, from Nova Scotia. Here's one by Sofia Monster. Sans is Trans by, I believe, Halifax. I believe they're local to Halifax. Sofia Monster. And this is a comic about Undertale, the video game. Let's see, here is a card from Peter Urkowitz, the aforementioned old friend and illustrator. Here's another book by Sofia Monster called Wander. Very cool. As you can see, we're kind of getting into the, are they mini comics still, or are they just books? Some of them are kind of on that line. So, here's one that I made called Welcome to Entropia, a little promotional mini comic for a web comic that I used to do. And it was also a play. Here's another mini by Sofia Alarcon called it's about stopping climate change. Not sure it has a title. It seems to be basically a collection of environmentally themed comics. Lovely stuff. Here's another one by Sofia Alarcon called Eat Me. And it seems to be about stuff that you eat. What else we got here? End Sickness number 2 by Sofia Alarcon again, and I'm pretty sure I've got a copy of number 1 as well, but I think it was a larger format. And I believe Alarcon has a new book, maybe by Conundrum, but yeah, one of my favorite newer artists that I've noticed in the last few years at Decaf. I'm glad to see them making progress. See, Zato Paul has a new book coming out, and I believe that is from Conundrum. Yeah. So looking forward to seeing that. Here is a card for TCAF 10 years ago. Wow. Some of the artists that were going to be in attendance, including Michael DeForge. Let's see, here's another postcard. Oh, from Jean-Guy Bryn, my old Ontario compatriot. Oh, here's a little brochure for Tattle Creek, which I don't know if they still publish that or not. Kind of a literary magazine that was very friendly to comics. Here is a zine, an illustrated epistolary poem about toxic love, assembled by doodling on scraps of paper with watercolor, gel pens, and dollar store stickers. An opus for no one, by Deirdre Sokolovska. Sorry, Deirdre. I believe I got that at the NASCAD store, if I were to guess. Some kind of card about an art supply store in Toronto. Another one. These must be cards that I got at TCAF one year. Here's a little catalog from Koyama Press. The great Annie Koyama. Here is an Action Geek mini epic, Depths, The Depths. Who is that by? It looks really familiar. Doug Chappell. Okay. Oh, this is from last year, apparently. All right. For some reason, I thought it was older. Let's see. We got Skull, which I believe I got at Rachel Smith. Oh, she's in Victoria. I'm not quite sure how this got all the way out here, but I must have gotten it at a show. Anyway, cool book. And here is another one by Rachel Smith about Palestine. Looks like I have a second copy of this one by Sofia Alarcon about spring. Here's a mini by Charlit Floriano. I'm getting her name wrong, I'm sure. Halifax artist that contributed to an anthology that I helped to publish. Anyway, cool book. Hi, Charlotte. Oh, here's another one by Charlotte called Trash Animals, Book 1. Mosquito, raccoon, and frog spend time together after a long winter. I love that style. What else we got here? Here's another one by Rachel Smith called Mind Games. And here's another one by Charlotte called Beast. Very nice. Let's see. Oh, here's one by Fern Palarin. Wow. cool. Not quite sure what the title is. But anyway. It's from 2023. It was made in Jason Lutz's cartooning studio class. Very cool. I have a few of Fern's more recent comics in the Black Rocks Books catalog. Let's see, here's one called Love Left Behind by Muffy, muffyart.com. Kind of photo collage, almost filmish. The Bittersweet Tale of Robot Jesus from the Future. And that is by Ben. Very silly story about exactly what it sounds like, Robot Jesus from the future. Let's see, now here's another one that is essentially a small book. The Short Con by Pete Toms and Alex Senwald. Got a bit of a Richard Sala vibe to it. Oh, here's one of mine, As Seen on Your Nana's Wall by me. Oh, here is I'm not quite sure. It says it's by. Okay, this card is by art by Jeffrey Brown. I'm not quite sure. It was included with. Yeah, it was just included with something that got sent to me, I guess. Another issue of Space Farts by Mark Jackson. Let's see, Take My Advice by Jess Anne. A collection of questionable guidance. Fair enough. Love the production of stuff. Another copy of A Little Book of Curses by Jess Anne. This is a card by Ryan Heshka, whose work I've been following for a long time. Got a couple of his pictures over there on the wall, actually. Here's a promotional card signed, apparently, by Jeff Lemire for Roughneck, one of his graphic novels. It's cool. Here's a promotional card for Hip Hop Family Tree by the late Ed Piskor. Not quite sure why I have that, but or where I would have picked it up. I probably I remember recommending that series to a friend who, like me, well, he still is a DJ as far as I know. I obviously was never a hip hop DJ, but I was a DJ in college. And anyway, and this friend of mine, he was very much into hip hop, and so I remember sending some links for the web version of that before it started getting collected, and yeah. So it looks like that's promoting the first Fantagraphics collection, I'm guessing. Here is a card for something called Inspector Pancakes. Looks fun. A large print story for children with a fine print secret for adults. Oh, interesting. Looks fun. Okay. Little promotional card for my stuff, my socials at the time. Oh, here's some prints. Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. These are some prints that I had at one point that I'd got from the artist Emily Redmond, who was based in Halifax and who did a very cool comic with her partner. What the heck was it called? I can't remember. Really good, though. And here's a promotional card for Halls of the Turnip King by PEI artist Brenda Hickey. Let's see, another couple of prints. Gee, I don't know who this artist is, but lovely stuff. Same with this one. Lovely stuff. Don't know who the hell you are. Get a stamp and put it on your prints, please. Get a sticker, put it on your prints. Put your website on your prints. Otherwise, I don't know who the hell you are. Come on, people. This is very basic. Oh, very cool. One of Emma Elaine's zines. Might be Alan. I know I've asked her this before because I grew up near a family that was named Elaine, spelled the same way, but not everyone pronounces it that way. Anyway, this is one of her many ingenious zines. She's a writer and book designer that was based in Halifax, but has moved since to Kingston, Ontario. And I think I probably have one or two more of her things in here. Oh, here's a zine by Annie Mock about James Joyce. I'm guessing I got this at a TCAF or something. Cool, though. Oh. Looks like it's Riso printed, maybe. Anyway, here is what looks like a promo card. Oh, for Whaler Ray, yes. I picked this up at DCAF, I think, 2 years ago. Learning how to drive in LA at 32. Now, who's that by? Sarah Thunder from 2015. Okay. Nice format. Oh, and a couple, it seems only fitting to wrap up this video with the great Conundrum Press, who recently have been hit hard by budget cuts to Nova Scotia's arts funding. They have had a Kickstarter going, I believe, which I hope you're supporting. Anyway, Andy Brown, the publisher, has collected some of his own zines into this book, Direct Flight Risk. It includes I'm Liking It, Spinny Ride, Wallace Hume Carruthers, and Gillian Welch Is Not Data. So it's a collection of a few of his shorter zines. And then finally, part of their series of 25 kind of miniature books, the great Colin Upton. I don't know if he's Canada's greatest mini comics artist, but he's probably our closest thing to a Matt Feazell. He's been at it forever. And this is a collection kind of catching up with where he's at these days. A palm-sized collection by the king of Canadian mini comics. Look, it says right there. Join Canadian cartoonist Colin Upton as he delights in the minutiae of everyday life. Yeah, that's pretty much what his comics always were. So yeah, it was lovely to see this on the shelf, and by Conundrum especially. So that's that for my mini comics collection, I think. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to maybe you've got some that you think I should have that you made. So please send them to me. Tell me how to get them. Until then, thanks. Bye-bye.